we have announced the following policy measures. We have reduced the marginal standing facility rate by 25 basis points from 9% to 8.75% with immediate effect. We have increased the policy repo rate under the liquidity adjustment facility by 25 basis points from 7.5% to 7.75% with immediate effect. And the liquidity provided through term repos of 7-day and 14-day tenor has been increased from 0.25% of net demand and time liabilities to 0.5% with immediate effect. This is net demand and time liabilities of the banking system. Now, let me give you a brief assessment of the situation. Our policy decisions are based on the current evolving global and domestic macroeconomic situation. The outlook for global growth has improved modestly, and the prospect of delay in the taper of the Federal Reserve's bond purchases has brought calm to financial markets. Domestically, while industrial activity has weakened, strengthening export growth, signs of revival in some services, along with the expected pickup in agriculture, could increase real GDP growth from 4.4% in Q1 to a central estimate of 5% for the year as a whole. The revival of large stalled projects and the pipeline cleared by the Cabinet Committee on Investment may buoy investment and overall activity towards the close of the year. On inflation, both wholesale and consumer price inflation are likely to remain elevated in the months ahead, warranting an appropriate policy response. We have calibrated liquidity management to the system's requirements. We are providing liquidity through overnight LAF repos, through export credit refinance, and through 7-day and 14-day term repos. We've also given greater flexibility to banks in managing reserve requirements. Going forward, however, the more durable strategy for mitigating mismatches between the supply of and demand for funds is for banks to step up efforts to mobilize deposits. Finally, on the external sector, a perceptible narrowing of the trade deficit coupled with policy interventions has brought some calm to the foreign exchange market. But normalcy will be restored only when the demand for dollars from public sector oil marketing companies is fully returned to the market. Let me talk a little bit about our policy stance and the rationale for it. We began a calibrated change in the exceptional liquidity measures since September. As steps to contain the current account deficit started taking effect in an improving external environment, and as volatility in the foreign exchange market ebbed, it became possible for us to unwind the exceptional liquidity tightening measures further. With the reduction of the MSF rate and the increase in the repo rate in this review, the process of realigning the interest rate corridor to normal monetary policy operations is now complete. However, it was important to break the spiral of rising price pressures in order to curb the erosion of financial savings and strengthen the foundations of growth. It is in that context that the LAF repo rate has been increased by 25 basis points. Curbing mounting inflationary pressures and managing inflation expectations will help strengthen the environment for growth by fostering macroeconomic and financial stability. The Reserve Bank will closely monitor inflation risk while being mindful of the evolving growth dynamics. Let me translate to simple English. Our interest rate stance is consistent with our projections for the evolution of the economy, but we will closely watch incoming data for significant departures from our projections. Let me turn now to development and regulatory policies. We plan to build the Reserve Bank's development measures over the next few quarters on 5 pillars. These are: 1, clarifying and strengthening the monetary policy framework; 2, strengthening banking structure through new entry, branch expansion, encouraging new varieties of banks, and moving foreign banks into better regulated organizational forms; 3, broadening and deepening financial markets and increasing their liquidity and resilience so that they can help absorb the risks entailed in financing India's growth; 4, expanding access to finance to small and medium enterprises, to the unorganized sector, to the poor, and to remote and underserved areas of the country through measures to foster financial inclusion; and 5, improving the system's ability to deal with corporate distress as well as financial institution distress by strengthening real and financial restructuring as well as debt recovery. Now, given these goals, let me talk a little bit about the actions that have already been announced. The action on the monetary policy framework, as you know, will follow the submission of the Dr. Urjit Patel Committee report. A number of measures to strengthen bank structures and financial markets have already been announced, and more will follow as they're worked out. The strategy to expand financial inclusion will be informed by the Dr. Nachiket Moore Committee report, though significant efforts to explore the use of technology are already underway. I invite you to go through Part B of the policy statement, which lays out development and regulatory initiatives in more detail. Now, in formulating these measures, we have listened to some of the concerns that has been expressed to us by some of you. For instance, a number of banks have expressed concerns about the difficulty of settling electronic funds transfers when the markets have closed. Keeping this in mind, we have revised the timing of MSF operations. With effect from November 5th, 2013, they will be conducted between 7 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. instead of between 4:45 and 5:15 p.m. I believe this new timing will help banks greatly in their reserve management and help free up liquidity for the economy. I also thank RBI personnel who will stay beyond usual hours to make the new timing possible. We hope to automate the facility by the end of the year. Let me list a few other important measures. I should note that we are discussing still further measures, and the fact I do not mention them does not mean they're not on the table, only that more work is needed before we get them to the point where they can be announced. First, the report of the group to operationalize countercyclical capital buffers in India. This is chaired by Sri Mahapatra. This report will be placed on our website by end November for comments from stakeholders. Second, the draft of the proposed framework for dealing with domestically systemically important banks in India will be placed on our website by end November. Third, the scheme of subsidiarization of foreign banks in India, which aims to reduce the risk they pose to the system while giving them the near national treatment promised in the past, will be placed on our website within 2 weeks. It will be guided by the two cardinal principles of reciprocity and single mode of presence. Fourth, inflation-indexed national savings certificates will be launched for retail investors in November/December 2013. Fifth, guidelines on cash-settled 10-year interest rate futures contracts will be issued by mid-November so that the product can be launched by the exchanges by end December. And sixth, the number of suggestions from the FSLRC report to improve the interaction between the RBI and regulated entities are being implemented. For instance, we will soon put on the website indicative times for us to respond to certain queries or requests for permission from regulated entities. I thank you all for your attention, and on behalf of the Reserve Bank, let me wish everyone a very happy Diwali.